a solid team shape the last 3 games. Is there the temptation to change that, knowing that you've got to make personnel changes?
Well, do you know what? You know, people could say, people haven't, but they could say, why don't you just go out, all out attack and play 4 strikers and 2 bombing on midfielders and 2 bombing on, well then you're going to get beat 5-0. And the other one thing you've always got to have in your mind, I know points are the thing, but also you've got to make sure you don't get beat a heavy score because of your goal difference. Because if we do end up on the same points as Hartlepool, then that, you know, people have stayed up on goal difference. So we've got to be careful of that. However, because, you know, if you've got a team like Man United or Man City or something, maybe not Man City at the moment, but anyway, Man United and, you know, the teams that have got those attacking players, that flair, you can do that. But we've got to stay organised because we haven't got that attacking flair that some of the teams have got. And we've just got to hope that we're solid enough to stop the opposition, stay in the game. But we just got to take one of our chances. We took one of our chances the other day, which weren't really a chance. It was a good strike from Terrell. But the ball was in the back of our net within, you know, 90 seconds sort of thing, you know. So we have to be aware of that. 2 goals normally wins the game, and I keep saying to the boys, we've got to go for these 2 goals. We've been unlucky a couple of times. Shaq's goal the other day that didn't count, etc., etc. But we've got to be solid and attack. I don't think people can accuse me of defending with this group. I've not defended. We've tried to get forward. Just down to the quality when you get there and that striker who's going to pull something out of nothing. And at the moment we're mixing and matching and everybody's getting a chance, but you know, we haven't had that striker that's on a bit of a roll of goals.
Yeah, someone like Danny Haynes, who you signed for Bristol City and you sort of inherited here, came on and did that role on Saturday. He's going to have to sort of step up and do it for the last 3 games.
Well, they're all going to have to step up, honestly, and it's very difficult as a manager when you're picking a team that nobody's, you know, a solid choice straight away. You know, you want to go into this group games, the important ones, knowing your best 11. But who does? You know, you could all pick a team here today and it'll be different to mine, be different to the chairman's, different to the supporters. You know, it's just something that at the moment there's not a ready-made 11. And so I've got to keep you know, giving people the opportunity, see who can, as I say, rise above it and who can actually produce something, affect the game. That is what we've got to look for. So if any of you think that you can affect the game, please let me know because there's a contract waiting.
Just going back to your time at Cambridge, it was one of the more famous sort of rises up the leagues in the last few years, and the old Cole Chowers and John Beck's playing style. How much did you learn from that spell and be able to take into the rest of your career?
Well, that was a fantastic time, and I learned a lot from that because we were definitely long ball, if you like, when people didn't really know what long ball was. There were long passes, but we were about an energy, and we used to talk about, we had a statistician that if you got 200 reaches, we would call them, which meant that you got into their final third, didn't matter whether you got the ball or not, you couldn't lose the game because the theory was they weren't at your end. But we had players at that time that were quality. Lee Philpott, Dion Dublin, John Taylor, Steve Claridge, Michael Cheatham, Gareth Ainsworth. You know, we had some real top players, Liam Dace, Alan Kimball. So it was, though that group of players could have played any sort of football anyway, it was just that we caught teams out and we went, what was it, from the 4th division right up till the playoffs for what is now the Premiership. And actually we went in, we got to 2 FA Cup quarter-finals as well, it was 4th and 3rd division, and me and Becky decided that we wouldn't cut our hair 20 years ago, Mike. What do you look like 20 years ago? 20 years ago, we said we wouldn't cut our hair, and I don't even remember Max Wall, but that's what I looked like. And it was like a little bald patch and a long hair down here. It was ridiculous, but we wouldn't cut our hair until we got beat, and we didn't expect to get to two quarter-finals sort of thing. Arsenal beat us at Highbury 2-1, and Crystal Palace beat us 1-0. So But yeah, they were great times, and I did learn a lot because there was a lot to learn from it. I then took over, and the club wanted a change of style, so it was a group of lads that we brought through the youth team, and the young lads. We had to sell a lot of players, a bit like Yeovil. A lot moved on, and we couldn't keep them. So we had to bring in the youth, and they done okay, and we kept ourselves in the first division for a couple of years, and that was my first management job, if you like.
You kind of played against them very many times since, I wouldn't imagine, as a manager, given that they...
Cambridge? No,
yeah.
I haven't actually. No, I brought Latvia over here for a friendly game against them a few years ago, but no, I've missed them over the years.
So this will be the first time since...
I think it might be, yeah. Listen, 20 years is a long time to remember whether I ever had them, especially in this current situation, but all your thoughts are on one thing. But, but this game we need to win, and it's one that, as you say, no sentiment, they can't, well, of course there isn't anyway, but, I'm being paid by this football club, and we've got to make sure that we still do everything we can.
Excellent. Right. Cheers, Gary.